Hey, how's it going, everyone? So this is going to be kind of a new series of things I'm going to be doing for the channel, probably coming out every week or so. Gives me a time to kind of like put my thoughts together and how the week went. Outside the podcast, just kind of a deeper dive into my life and my thought processes and everything. It's kind of a journal as well for my son to be able to watch as I talk about things that are going on in our life currently, but he may not even watch this until he's later in life. And it's kind of the topic I was going to go into, but at least the working title I'm going to go for this is going to be From a Dad's Perspective. I don't know if it's going to be a podcast. It may just be video. I could make it into a podcast. It all depends. But yeah, just been doing a lot of thinking, soul searching, things like that. There's been a lot of things going on in my life right now, my family's life, my friend's life for that matter too. Yeah, so I took time off for my job to go up to help my dad do some stuff, and then also headed to Missouri to help my buddy Rob at his shop because he's, been having a lot more product come in, so he's been needing a lot more manpower. It was good to get away with my family. We left I think 8 in the morning on Friday. Didn't get there until 10:30 p.m. because there was traffic, and then of course we were hitting rush hour traffic by the time we got to Dallas. And then just driving through Oklahoma is a pain in the butt. They have like you're just going from 75 all the way through Oklahoma to get to Missouri is painful. Um, there are just these speed traps, or you'll get to these towns where it'll go from 65 or 70 to 65 to 55 to 35 to 15, and then they'll start ramping up again, and then it's never the consistent amount of speed that you're going. It's always dipping lower, so it takes a while, but it's beautiful going through that state and everything. There's some really nice lakes, and there's a small town called Pryor that my buddy Josh worked at for a period of time. He was doing some construction and some other stuff. I actually don't even remember what he was doing up there. I know he was just up there doing a job, but there's a really cool Amish store that has like really good food and snacks and things. So usually we try to stop there on Friday, depending on what time we leave, because they're usually not open on Sundays, or so, which is understandable. But you know, but once we got into Missouri, there was definitely a difference in the temperature from leaving Texas. I think the temperature at the time when we left in the morning was um, starting to creep into the hundreds. And then by the time we got into Missouri, it was like, I think 72. And we're like rolling down the windows and like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. After having weeks of over 100, 105 temperature, it's been pretty crazy. Enjoying staying inside. But once we got there, it was great. We got to my buddy's shop. We helped them out until about 2 or 3. Went home to his house, and then I think when we got up to go take the cars, when we noticed that my car was having some issues. So I gotta replace two of my struts, and then there's an error code that we were getting that was on my transmission. So my buddy Matt is looking into the code so we can verify what it's going to be, and he'll let me know what it'll cost me to repair my car, which needs to be done. It's drivable, but I try not to go too far with it. I'm only going from point A, my house, to point B, work, and then back. And we're just trying to use my wife's car in between. But it's pretty scary. Luckily, my buddy Rob had a car that let us drive around, Ron Bolivar and stuff. So we didn't have to use my car. And then I had talked to one of our friends up there who has a shop, and he was able to get the codes and find out what was wrong with the car. And he could have done the struts up there, but the transmission issues he wouldn't have been able to do. and he told me that we could make it home if we didn't tax the car. So like, don't go over like 100 going home. But it was kind of cool getting up there to help Rob like rearrange certain areas for what I could. He had his live auctions and his whatnot sales, and I helped on that. Um, Edward had a blast. He would just find an area with toys and just start playing with it, and then put them back, and then do that again until he could borrow my wife's phone to play Roblox with his friends. And my wife had a good time. She went upstairs because he has like the shop's pretty big. So the Peddler Post is a 3-story building with a basement. Um, it's really nice. He's doing what he can to restore it because there's some things that need to be done to that place that for structural purposes, as well as whenever it rains, there's some issues. But the first floor, of course, is what I've showcased before in my video, where it's all just toys and games and memorabilia, all that great stuff. Not nonsense. It's a great stuff. Um, then second floor, he has more stuff like Hot Wheels and Nerf guns and sports memorabilia, movies. I think he had a few pop vinyls up there, not this last time, but before, back in April when we went. And third floor is a giant like thrift store. There's like movies, there's records, there's tons of clothes, knickknacks, house appliances. And he told my wife just to go up there and find what she wanted up there, and that's what my wife did. Spent a lot of time up there looking for clothes, because my son starts school towards the end of the month, and he totally outgrew all of his stuff, so we're working towards getting him new clothes. Luckily we found some. My wife found some clothes, so that was pretty cool. I actually found some movies and anime and some mangas that I was able to grab. There's a lot of other stuff that I picked up, and that's a whole other thing. But and in the basically the basement is all of his what it overstock, and like whenever he gets lots from his estate sales, like, or just bulk bins of just knickknacks or toy collections from people, that's where they sort everything out. He's got a couple arcades down there that are not hooked up, but it would be really cool if they were. One of the arcades, of course, is the GI Joe 2-player arcade game, and not the 4-player. But it's a cool store. It's haunted. So there's some creepy stuff that happens when we're down there. Um, Downstairs and upstairs. On the first floor too. It's pretty spooky. Stuff will fall. You'll feel like you're being followed. You'll see things in the shadows. So it's really creepy up there, but it's fun. I enjoy it. I love the atmosphere. It reminds me of me growing up with my dad at the comic book stores he would work at, or when we would go to flea markets and or other places. So it's like right at home for me. And luckily, if everything goes well, when we go up in October, my dad's going to go up with me so he can check out the place as well. He really wants to go and just pick through everything and see what he can find for what he wants. And I think that'll be a joy for him for everything that's going on. But yeah, I did pick up quite a bit of stuff. I Tetrised everything in so that way me, my wife, and son had space to be comfortably in the car. There was a few times where we hit some bumps and some toys kind of slid avalanche towards my son. Not a whole lot. It was just a bin my wife had of loose little like Disney stuff, and I think there were some McDonald's things, some Super Mario McDonald's figures, some Beanie Babies, and a few other things that my wife wanted. So that was always fun, and we had to rearrange things a little bit to make sure. But I had like game stuffed under my car, and like things in my glove compartment. It was pretty bad. But and that's because also we had to take our luggage up there for the time we were up there. But it was really cool. It's always a blast getting to go up there, especially during the meetups, and those are fun. Those are quarterly. He does a toy group meetup. He has like, I think, 5 or 6 toy groups that he's part of that he started. Some GI Joe, some Transformers, um, just general collecting. And he does a call to the people in those communities to, hey, you want to come up? You can set up a booth and sell stuff, and then just hang out, and we'll have a good time because there's really good food up there, and it's just really nice. But what else? Driving home was scary, with the car issues, but we made it to my dad's, and we were there for about 2 or 3 days, and it was nice being able to get to visit with him. And we went around to a few places. We went and ate. Um, I think we had, like, what? We went to Chili's, we went to Target, we went to, of course, toy hunting, the things that I grew up doing. Um, picked up a few things for my son and my wife, and I think I picked up the Damage Shredder for the Mirage comics, and that'll be in a video that I'll show with my NECA stuff that I picked up. But yeah, I mean, it was good to get away. I think I worked Thursday and Friday of the previous week. Well, I say that as this is Sunday. I worked all of last week, but the week before when we were up there, I worked Thursday and Friday. It was good being able to work remote. I was able to focus on installing people's software, fixing problems, and not having to, like, leave my house. Well, it wasn't my house; it was my buddy Rob's house. But it was fun. I mean, we had a good time, and I have been wanting to make sure that the things I do are things that will be fun and memorable for my son. You know, he's at that age now. He'll be 9 at the end of the month, and I want to start doing a lot more things with him to build those memories. Uh, it's kind of the reason why I started the channel. Is all of this is for him. It's a way for him to be able to see me at the time of right now, and as he grows up, so that way, when I'm gone, he has a record of who I was, and those memories, and my voice, and the things that I wish that we could have done back in the day, with my grandparents or my uncle or my dad or our friends, his friends. I mean, there was so much cool stuff that we used to do, and I wish we would have been able to put it on a camcorder, take more pictures than we did. And I'm trying to start doing that a lot more lately. But it's life can get in the way. And especially, so my best friend was over yesterday, Saturday, because today, Sunday, is his birthday. He just turned 40. Um, and it's like he wanted to hang out, and that's technically what we've been doing. We've been doing every on his birthday, he comes over, and we usually hang out, play video games, watch movies or YouTube, and drink. We don't get drunk, but we just have a few beers and just have a good time. Our buddy Edward comes over, and sometimes my buddy Josh and other people that are friends that we grew up with and with the high school and everything. And it's always a blast. But you could just tell on his face that, like, hitting 40 is getting to him, because 40 is in a way the new 30 for our generation, at least anyway. So I know that for me, back in 2020, when I was 39, and then when I hit 40, I was in that period of time of 2020 and 2021, I was having a midlife crisis. It was crazy. I was afraid of, like, the fact that, like, I how much more time do I have? I see the candle that is my life, and how it's like halfway there. And I hope that I can be here at least another 40 years. So it really kind of takes a toll on you. You think of, like, well, I need to start getting healthier, and I need to start changing things in my life. It's like I'm worried about our house. I'm worried about, you know, um the stress like put on me, being here for my son. I'd love to be able to be there whenever he gets married 10, 15 years plus down the road. I'd love to be able to see my grandkids, if that ever happens. But I for the meantime, I just got to focus on day to day and make sure that I'm healthy. And that's a lot of the reasons why I've lost weight. I've just started changing what I do and how I eat. I consume a lot of water now these days. I still have a Coke every now and then, maybe once a day, but most of my fluid intake is always water. And I will usually go for the better option if I can on like snacks or even like not even going for that second portion. I'll just have the one. But trying to get more sleep. Man, I'm stumbling my words here. Trying to get more sleep. Trying to just make sure that I'm all good. I know that I plan on setting up a doctor's appointment to get all my health checked out because blood, diabetes runs in my family, and heart problems run in my family. There's quite a few things that run in my family I just need to be careful with, and especially if I want to be here. I know that my wife, whenever she turned 40, because usually you're younger than I am, like what, 2021? No, she was 2022. I know that she had some issues, just coming to that point where like we used to think that 40 was old. I it's weird because even like going into our 30s, I didn't feel like I was at middle age. I just felt it was like an extension of 20. I still felt like I was 20, but you know, I went through a lot of things, and having my kid and really being focused on him and other things. I mean, all of it's for him. I'd give up everything so he could be able to, have a good life and have a fun time. Because we got to start paying for his college at some point. I know that's him being 9, that's 10 years away. So, and we want to help him and make sure that he focuses on what he wants to do. But that's 10 years from now. I'll be 52. I don't even want to think about that. Heck, my dad just turned 60 on the 27th of June, and we didn't have his little party until the I think the 8th of last month. So he came down. Luckily we hid it from him. It was perfect. We were able to like make it work out where he had no idea. My niece Alice was born on the 27th as well. So she turned 9, and we made it seem like we were going to have a party for her down here. And we rented a space at Cidercade, which is a really cool arcade, huge warehouse type building where you have tons of arcades that you can play, from old 80s stuff all the way up to like late mid 2000s. And man, that was fun. But my problems were like I went over to go play Terminator 2 arcade game, and I got to the point where you're protecting the SWAT van from the helicopter, but the gun on the right, the player 2 gun, was broken, so it was aiming towards the top of the screen, so you couldn't use it at all. And then the first player gun worked, except for you couldn't use the either the grenade or the shotgun option, the little button in the front to kind of do a spread blast, which is what you technically use for that spot. And I kept dying, and I was sitting on there for like another 30 minutes than I should have, trying to see if I could just beat the pattern to get through it. And eventually was like, I gave up. And I'm like, man, like it's one of my favorite arcade games, and I'd love to be able to have that. And I know a Limited Run has a version that they released, but I've heard that the guns suck and some other issues. But I'd love to have the actual full arcade eventually. That'd be nice. or at least be able to play it through some kind of emulator at some point because I haven't played it in years. I remember me and my dad sitting there at Super Track playing that game and having a blast. It was fantastic. As far as like, one of my favorite movies, at least the top five of all time, is Terminator 2. And to be able to have a game that kind of covered that was great. We did a lot of that stuff. But, you know, um, going back to the story, so I had sent out invites to people to show up, and a lot of our friends and some of our family showed up for my dad, and he was just like ecstatic. You could just see it in his face, like, he realized it was for him and not just for his granddaughter, my niece. And it was a good feeling because like when he hit 50, we went to a place called Spaghetti's Warehouse, which is in Houston, close to, what is it, U of H downtown, one of the community colleges here. And we had a good time. My sister made like some really cool cakes. She made a TARDIS with fondant Snoopy and Woodstock, but they were dressed as, the fourth Doctor and one of his companions, and that was awesome. But I wanted to try to do something more, but it was just kind of like we had so much going on in June, and it just felt like between June and July, everything just like meld together. And I'm hoping that we can take August a little slow, but he had a good time, and I'm happy, and I got him. So since I picked up the Tears of the Kingdom Switch, I ended up giving him my Switch. So that was his birthday gift for me. I need to pick up a couple games for him, but for the meantime, he's going to be on my friend's pass or my family pass for the online, so he'll be able to play all the old virtual console stuff. Man, I can't get words out. Sorry, guys. Um, and then on top of that, we had a good time, and then he went home and stuff. And this week's been, or well, this month's been, well, like I said, the last month has been crazy between the car stuff, and a few other things going on. My Uncle Colin's dad's in the hospital. He's um, considered like my grandfather. He helped my dad out on some stuff back whenever he was younger and took him in. And they've always, that side of the family has always been part of our family. They were friends, but they became beyond that. But yeah, so we're dealing with that. I know that he's also dealing with stuff in his house. They had some pretty nasty rainy weather up there, and it damaged some stuff, and he lost all of his entire Batman collection. And I believe this is like his everything that he had like for the last 40 years that he'd been collecting for Batman comics and some figures and other things that he was going to leave to his kids, that it's just gone. And man, it's just like a triple whammy. He's gone through that stuff. And then, I know my buddy David's going through some stuff with his grandfather. And, we've been dealing with stuff here, worried about my dad. We just got some news that it's not like, it's not dire, but the dynamics of things that are going to change for my sister is going to be kind of rough. And I hope she makes the right decisions on what she's going to do. But that's a little too personal at the moment. But other than that, I mean, everything's been good. Like I said, I picked up a lot of stuff. I'm going to be making a couple videos down the road of kind of like sectioning out what I picked up. And then on top of that, I did get my video games monthly box in. I'm going to do a video for that. I need to finish editing the episode 2 for Why We Collect. I have episode 79 ready. It just needs, well, it's not ready. I have it recorded. It needs to be edited, and then I'll get that out. So a lot of work to do. May not get to play a whole lot of games, but I will definitely be streaming this Thursday to basically finish up Sonic Mania. I love that game. It's great. It brings great nostalgia to me. The sprite work and everything they did and the music is fantastic. So if you haven't played it, you guys got to check it out. Um, I know that Mazen's been telling me I need to play Front Mission, which I've been talking about playing Front Mission. I'm going to, and I just picked up Diablo 4. I just got to get into my BattleNet account so I can play it because it's not like you can just play it out of the box. So I wonder how many people were like, okay, this is annoying. Why can't I just play this game out of the box? Yeah, there's been a lot of things going on. Very happy to start talking about some of the stuff that's coming up and some of the videos I'm going to be making on the quest to continue to do things for my son as far as building memories. My wife went ahead and got us some season passes for Slitterbond. So Slitterbond is a water park that started in New Bronxville. It's not too far out from San Antonio. I think they have like 5 parks, I believe. It's been a long time since I've been there. Um, but it's an amazing water park. And then of course you have the river that's there that you can kind of just like go get an inner tube and have a couple of drinks and just float down with your friends. And but few years ago, actually it's been quite a few years ago, they opened a park in Galveston. It was really cool. They had an agri area that was indoors, and in part of the lazy current that they had, or lazy river current thing they had there, was it was all indoors and it would go around the park and all that was indoors. So it was like the kind of like the first water park where you can go there throughout the whole year and not have to worry about like the cold weather or the hot weather because it was all insulated. Well, I think one of the hurricanes we had, they had some damage, so they had to redo all that. So it was weird being there since the hurricane to see how they changed the park. And but we went yesterday, so Saturday, the 5th, and it was me, my wife, my son, my aunt Lisa, and I guess which would you call her? A niece or her guardian, and she takes care of her. My aunt Lisa does is Tara, and we had a fun time. It was really cool. We got there kind of late because I was up late talking to my buddies on Discord, and then with Ryan and everything, and then my dad called and talked to my wife about what's going on with my sister, and then so we were all up late, and then I didn't think we got up until 10 or 11 o'clock, and we didn't even leave the house till almost 12, and got to my aunt's, drove out there. So we couldn't find a table. We had to find some area to like place our stuff, and then just chilled on the river, did a couple rides. It was fun. My son was having a blast, and that was the whole point. I'm glad he had a good time. And since we have a season pass, we're gonna go again this next weekend. And I think the last day for this season is going to be Labor Day, but I don't think we'll make it out then. We got my son's birthday on the 27th of this month, and we got to plan all that stuff out and find out what we're going to do for him. But so probably the next 3 weekends we'll be going to Slitterbond, and then that'll be the it for this season. And then what's cool is since we did the season pass, it covers what was left here and then all of next year. So we'll definitely be doing a lot more of that. So then, chilling in the water, doing things in the water, is actually a lot healthier than some of the things you can do to be healthier or fit. So I'm looking forward to it. But I am a little sore. Like my arms are sore and my legs and stuff. It's like more physical activity I haven't done in a while. So, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm looking forward to doing more videos with him and taking him more places because it's important, and that's from my dad's perspective, from the dad's perspective, for me anyway, is that it's capturing as much as I can and doing as much as I can with him and my wife and my dad and my family and friends. So that way he'll have a whole other level of nostalgia. And just got to keep a log of that life journey, and and put yourself out there. I enjoy this stuff. I'm still trying to like learn to articulate my words a little better because it's weird talking in front of a camera, and getting over the things that we say that are like just filler words that don't mean anything. But that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this little bitty video and a vlog of what's been going on. I will see you guys, I guess, next Sunday. So I'm gonna try to get this recorded and edited out tonight. And then I'll do the same next Sunday, and hopefully I'll have a consistent Sunday video about what's going on in my life and what happened, and keep you guys updated, for the ones that care. And the new people, welcome. Um, we love celebrating pop culture and nostalgia and all things awesome. And that doesn't have to be retro. It can be retro to new or modern or beyond. But in the meantime, everyone have a great one. Thanks for listening and catch you later.